Hope you had a lovely bank holiday weekend. Okay, so we're going to start as usual with our feet hip distance apart. If you're not sure how to find that, just feel around, find your hip bones, and then you want to just sort of point your fingers down, and ideally you will be pointing at your big toes so that our big toe is just directly underneath our hip bone. Yeah, I know. Session 60. Woo. So hip distance apart with our feet. We want our weight equally distributed between our big toe, the outside of our foot, and our heels. And we want nice loose knees. So what that means is, like, if you're able to have straight legs and not kind of lock your knees straight, then that's great. But if, like me, you end up sort of tensing and locking your knees, then you can just slightly bend them. That's absolutely fine, just as long as there's no extra tension in your legs that we don't need. It's a waste of energy, and we need that energy to do more useful things. So we want to imagine we've got a string coming out of the top of our head, as if we were sort of marionette puppet. So if somebody let go, we just crumble down. And this will hopefully help to give us a nice long neck, nice long back, shoulders down, arms by your side. If you were to bend your elbows, they're going to bend out that way as opposed to holding your arms this way round. And then we're just going to swing from our hips, and we're not moving our arm. Check, there's nothing you can crash into. We're not sort of moving our arms around. They're just sort of flopping round with the momentum of the swing. So just everything nice and relaxed. We want to still try and keep that nice sort of straight spine. I'm pretty bad at that myself, so don't watch me. Just do it if you can. And you know, again, like I say this regularly, but whenever there are sort of any bad habits creep in, you know, it's completely natural, and we just need to try and be mindful of them and prevent it happening. And when it does, just relax out of them. Very good, and just shake it out. The worst thing you can do is get too annoyed at yourself, because then you'll get tense again. So, you know, as and when any bad habits creep in, just try and be aware of them, just try and relax, and gradually it will improve. Okay, so we're choosing a different body part each week to just do an extra little bit of stretching. So traveling down the body, if you just angle the camera down a little bit. So we're gonna put one foot forward and raise the toe, and just sort of press, just gently. You should feel it behind your knee, your hamstring. And then the other side. And back. Very good. And one more just to even it up. And now just flop over, and just try and touch your toes basically, or it's harder if you stand with your feet together. You should, again, feel it down the back of your knees. Try and keep your knees straight. So then if you can't go all the way to the floor, that's absolutely fine. If you want to open your legs a little bit, like I say, that does make it a bit easier. And just come back up. Very good. So shake it out. Just make sure you don't push yourself too hard, because like I say, we are stretching, so it's good to be out of your comfort zone, but obviously we don't want to actually hurt ourselves. So just know your own body and see how you go. Okay, so we'll come back to feet hip distance apart. We're gonna turn our attention to our breathing now. So underneath our rib cage, right here, and if you're not completely sure where that is, you can feel around, find those bottom ribs. That's where a big tarpaulin shaped muscle called the diaphragm lives, and this is the muscle we use for breathing. And what I want us to be doing now is to push with the diaphragm to squeeze the air out of your lungs, then relax, drop the diaphragm and allow the air to flood back in. So we're going to get into a little rhythm, and then in a minute we're going to do some arm movements that reflect what's going on inside. So as we breathe out, we're going to bring our hands up like this, reflecting the diaphragm, pushing to squeeze the air out. Then when we relax and drop our diaphragm, we're going to drop our hands down, and then we're going to bring them up to represent the rib cage expanding as our lungs fill with air. So first we'll just get into our own little rhythm. We're going to bend and straighten our knees. The down is always going to be the sort of and, so up is in and up is out and in and out. So I don't want anything too jerky, it's going to be nice and smooth, and we're just going to and out and in and push and relax and we'll add the arm movements in a minute. And out and in and push, drop the diaphragm. And we'll go to the side on the next one. Very good, and shake it up. Okay, so we'll get back into our feet hip distance apart position. Now's the time if you want to sit down, that's absolutely fine. So we'll still get into the correct standing position, but just make sure you've got a chair behind you. So feet hip distance apart, weight equally distributed between the big toe, the outside of the foot, and your heel. Knees nice and loose, nice string coming out the top of your head to hold up your spine, nice elongated spine, long neck, shoulders down, arms by your side. So now if you want to sit down, you're just going to sort of bend your knees into your seat and get comfortable. Try not to cross your legs or hold your knees together, just same principle, just everything nice and relaxed. We're going to all find a spot on the wall that is sort of roughly our own eye level. That way we don't have to look up or down or affect our posture in any sort of way like this. And we're just going to channel the air to the spot, something like this. So when you get to the end of your breath, I just want you to try and push a little bit more. Push with the diaphragm, because there's almost always a little bit more air in your lungs than you think there is. So then when you finally get to the end, I want you to just hold it. Hold, 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 hold. And then you're just going to relax. Drop the diaphragm and just allow the air to come back in. And then you're going to start again. Push with the diaphragm, channel the air to the spot. So whenever you're ready, just get started with that. Very good. Try not to hold back any of the air. People often do, because they think then it will make the breath last longer. But what tends to happen is then you need to take in another in-breath before you've got rid of all the air from your lungs. So then you're just sort of breathing on top and on top and on top, and then you start hyperventilating. So we're just trying to get rid of all the air. So if you are able to be looking in the mirror whilst you're doing this, you can notice what your body is doing. ideally we don't want our shoulders to, in fact this is one of the first things, if you're ever watching an actor or a singer or somebody and they take in a deep breath, and one of the first ways of knowing if they know what they're doing is if they take in a deep breath and they're like, it's wrong. That's a shallow breath, because you're literally just kind of at the top of your lungs, just, so it's always going to be the diaphragm that is, well, it's always going to be the diaphragm that helps you breathe whatever you do, because your lungs are just bags. But if you're going to breathe correctly, for the purposes of this, you're going to drop the diaphragm, so you're going to kind of breathe from down here rather than, so, you know, your rib cage obviously expands. It's not to say, you know, if your shoulders move at all, it's not, you know, that's not wrong, because obviously everything's connected, so, you know, it's going to move. But it's just that sort of idea that a deep breath being, so, nah. Okay, so come to the end of whatever breath you're currently on, and then we're going to switch to a shh sound. Still channeling it to the spot. And like I say, if you are able to look in the mirror, hopefully you'll be able to see if any of your little bad habits are creeping in. If you're not able to look in the mirror, that's absolutely fine, but then you have to just be a little bit more mindful. I find it quite helpful. So although most of your mind is concentrating on shh, pushing with the diaphragm, then pushing a bit more, then holding, relax, drop the diaphragm, allow the air to flood back in. If you just have like half an eye on sort of, for example, tension in shoulders, standing on one side, clenching your fist. You know, people have all different little places that they store tension. Do tilt your neck back, or, you know, all these things. And gradually, if you get to learn your own body and the sorts of bad habits you have, and then you can always just be mindful of those and try and correct them as you go along. Like I said before, just relax out of it, don't get annoyed at yourself, and sometimes it takes a long time for your body to get used to the correct position. It's completely normal, don't worry about it, just gradually improve as we go along, okay? So, shh. Very good. So come to the end of whatever breath you're currently on. Shake it out. Nice big stretch. And yawn. So that feeling, when your throat's all open from yawning, that's a really good feeling to remember for when you're singing. Also, you know, sometimes public speaking. Not everyone's able to control what happens sort of internally so well, so just you know, some people could just do it naturally, some people need to really think about it, so just try every time you yawn to sort of remember that feeling, because that's quite a good feeling for your throat to be in. Okay, so we're going to do a little bit of box breathing just because it's nice and relaxing. So we'll get back into our comfortable position, whether we're standing, sitting, whatever, and we're just going to breathe in for 4 counts, hold it for 4 counts, out for 4 counts, hold it for 4 counts. This is quite a good exercise, just if you're ever sort of feeling a bit stressed before an important meeting, or, you know, making a phone call or something like this. You know, even if you're out and about, you can do this, no one can really even tell that you're doing it. And it's just to kind of control the breathing. I want you to still be thinking about the diaphragm, and if possible, if you're able to sort of visualize things in your mind's eye, to sort of picture the diaphragm dropping when we breathe in and then pushing to squeeze the air out of your lungs. If you're squeamish, balloons is a good sort of metaphor in your mind for your lungs, or, you know, whatever works for you. If you can't visualize things, don't worry, just however it makes sense in your mind, to try and think about what's actually physically happening as well, because it does make a difference to how you learn things if you sort of think of it as well. So yeah, this is just a really good exercise for sort of any situation, and as things are sort of starting to get a bit more back to normal or whatever, I think a lot of people are getting a bit of anxiety. And again, you know, don't beat yourself up about it. It's completely natural. So with this, controlling our breathing will help us control physically how we feel about all these stressful situations, and then hopefully that kind of filters into everything else. So I'm not saying it's going to cure everything, but you know, it is. I find it helpful anyway. So blah 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 blah. We're going to breathe in, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. And in, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. In, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Very good. Okay, so shake it out and get back into your comfortable position. I want you to look at your spot on the wall and then close your eyes. Now you're just going to breathe in a completely normal, natural rhythm. You're just going to find your own rhythm. If you're in the room with somebody else and you can hear them breathing, don't worry about their rhythm. You just do you. You can breathe through your nose or your mouth, or a combination of both, whatever feels comfortable, whatever you want to do. But the only thing I do want to try and make sure that you do is push with your diaphragm to squeeze the air out of your lungs, then relax and drop the diaphragm to allow the air to flood back in. So a lot of people think of breathing as actively taking in a breath and then relaxing to sigh out the breath. We're doing the opposite of that. The muscular part, where we're working, we're pushing the air out of our lungs. Then when we relax, we're going to just drop the diaphragm. We're not going to take a breath in, we're just going to allow the breath to come back in. And so again, because you've got your eyes closed as well, some people find that easier to visualize. We're just going to try and imagine what's happening and really just concentrate on our lungs filling with air. When our diaphragm drops to make the space, then push, 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 push to squeeze out the air. You don't have to hold it in between. You're just going to breathe in a normal sort of rhythm, whatever feels comfortable. But I just want you to be mindful of like the mechanics of it going on in your body. Very good. So now I want you to continue pushing with the diaphragm, squeezing the air out of your lungs, then relaxing, dropping the diaphragm and allowing the air to flood back in. But now I want you to listen to whatever sounds you can hear outside the room you're in. So there might be cars driving past, there might be birds singing, it might be completely silent. Then you're going to listen to that silence, and there might be other sounds happening, there might be other thoughts and things going on inside your mind. You can't block them completely, but you don't have to listen to them. So they're going to melt away, because you're just going to listen to whatever you can hear outside the room you're in, and all the while you're going to push with your diaphragm to squeeze the air out of your lungs, then relax, drop the diaphragm and just allow the air to flood back in. good. So now I want you to continue pushing with your diaphragm to squeeze the air out of your lungs, then relaxing, dropping the diaphragm, just allowing the air to flood back in. Now I want you to take a step closer with your mind's eye, and I want you to just listen to whatever sounds you can hear inside the room that you're in. So there might be a clock ticking, there might be a fly buzzing around the room, it might be completely silent, and then you're going to listen to that silence. And all the while you're going to push with your diaphragm to squeeze the air out of your lungs, and then relax. Drop the diaphragm and just allow the air to flood back in. Very good. So now I want you to continue pushing with your diaphragm, squeezing the air out of your lungs, then relaxing, dropping the diaphragm, just allowing the air to flood back in. Now I want you to take another step closer with your mind's eye, and I want you to just listen to your own body. So you might be able to hear your heart beating, you might be able to hear yourself breathing, you might be completely silent. Then you're going to listen to that silence, and all the while you're going to push with your diaphragm to squeeze the air out of your lungs, then relax, drop the diaphragm and just allow the air to flood back in. now I want you to continue pushing with your diaphragm, squeezing the air out of your lungs, then relaxing, dropping the diaphragm, just allowing the air to flood back in. Now I want you to put those three things together. So I want you to listen to the world outside the room you're in. I want you to listen to the room that you're in. And I want you to listen to your own body. And I want you to try and feel the connection between those things. Feel yourself present in this space at this time. And feel your presence in the space that you're in. And all the while you're going to push with your diaphragm to squeeze the air out of your lungs. Then relax. Drop the diaphragm and just allow the air to flood back in. Open your eyes, take a little look around, just feel yourself in the space. Excellent session, well done everybody. So we are going to finish with a little sing-along as we usually do. Today's song is Don't Turn Around. As you can tell, I'm super prepared, but I have got the lyrics, a link to the lyrics in the description. So I'll just give you a sec to find those, and whilst you are, I will take this opportunity to say thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you as well to everybody who's watching not live. Hello. And also special thank you to everybody who supports me on PayPal or Patreon. It's very much appreciated, but please don't feel obligated. So whilst we're singing, we want to try and put into practice what we've just been thinking about with our breathing. So when we sing out the words, we're going to push with the diaphragm. Then to take the in-breath, we're just going to relax, drop the diaphragm and just allow the air to flood back in. We're not going to breathe in, we're just going to allow the air in. Okay, so hopefully you're ready with the lyrics. We'll get singing. If you want to leave, I won't beg you to stay. And if you gotta go, darling, maybe it's better that way. I'm gonna be strong, I'm gonna be fine. Don't worry about this heart of mine. But don't turn around, 'cause you're gonna see my heart breaking. Don't turn around. want you seeing me cry. Just walk away, tear me apart that you're leaving. I'm letting you go, but I won't let you know. I won't miss your arms around me, holding me tight. And if you ever think about me, just know I'll be alright. I'm gonna be strong, I'm gonna be fine. Don't worry about this heart of mine. But don't turn around, 'cause you're gonna see my heart breaking. Don't turn around, I don't want you seeing me cry. Just walk away, tear me apart that you're leaving. I'm letting you go, but I won't let you know. Don't turn around, don't turn around, just walk away. Thank you very much. Hopefully I will see you again soon. I will be back with another breathing session on Friday at 11 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time. So hopefully I will see you then. Otherwise, have a great week. Have a great Tuesday. And see you again soon. Lots of love. Bye.